Hello, everybody, and welcome to the White Hatter YouTube news show.
That was funny.
I'm Brandon.
No, that was funny.
What? Oh, yeah, I had a little cough at the beginning.
Hey, I'm Darren.
Let's get into some news topics, shall we?
In the news.
First news topic.
Hey!
Google will be testing its new AR glasses in the public very soon.
Do they look like the original ones? You know, look like the Mandalorian sighting mechanism that he had on his
Google
helmet?
Glass version 2.
Oh.
No, so these look more akin to Facebook Ray-Ban glasses. So
Do they do the same thing?
no. So how Google is designing these, they're designed for translation and navigation.
Oh, that's cool.
So the sensors and cameras that are built on the glasses are not designed or they're not programmed to record stuff and share it on social media.
Oh, okay.
That's how they're kind of addressing the privacy issue. If you remember back in the beginning days of Google Glass, and you would see signs on restaurants and places in public saying no cyborgs, because people didn't want their being recorded from glasses.
Will they allow you to still Google things? Like you could say, hey, Google, what is African chowder? Is a good example.
I don't know. I didn't see that in its public statement. I wouldn't be surprised if it wouldn't do that.
We've got a video clip, don't we?
Yeah, they have a video product trailer of sorts.
A product trailer. Let's have a look.
我可以听得懂，可是有时候我讲不来嘛。
We'd love to be able to share with you a new prototype we've been working on.
Okay, those look cool.
Yeah, they look.
They're
You
fashionable.
should
They
be
look like
seeing
the-
what I'm
like what
saying,
Ray-Ban does.
just transcribed for you in real time,
that's
kind of like
cool.
subtitles for the world.
What we're working on is technology that enables us to break down
kinda
language
cool.
barriers. Taking years of research in Google Translate and bringing that to glasses.
Definitely a step up from the
sí,
original.
sí te veo.
I'm actually looking
Google
straight
learned-
into your
Google
eyes,
learned from
and it seems like you're looking right at me.
Oh, sí, sí, estoy viendo lo que estás diciendo para ayudarte.
Making access to information just instant and intuitive. By doing that, technology fades into the background, and we're more connected with the people and the things around
Pretty
us.
cool. Oh, will it? Is it deciphering
Giving
sign language?
people the
That's what
gift
they're looking
of
to do.
communicating with anyone, no matter what language they speak, I think is a really powerful thing.
And now you're saying you could do that also with like directions, right? Where you'll be able to see the directions like a head-up display,
integrating with Google Maps basically to navigate.
Pretty
you.
cool.
So their focus is not social media sharing.
Right. That's what the Facebook glasses are all about.
Yeah.
Facebook Ray-Ban glasses, or the Snapchat glasses, right? The VR Spectacle Force glasses that they have. It's all about taking pictures or video and sharing it.
Yeah, the Google one's more about just accessibility.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they grow and allow that. I would imagine they probably will, right?
The problem is that they had such a problem with their version 1 with the cyborg Mandalorian targeting system that people were banning people from places in public from using it. So either A, the public have become more accustomed to cameras everywhere, or the Google's not going to go ahead with that, and they always get to say, it's not like people can take your picture with these things and share it on social media. That's not how it works. So the public's concerns are kind of muted.
You know, what's really interesting is there's lots of talk about virtual reality, right? And meta, right? The metaverse. But I actually think that, and I've said this before, I think the augmented reality is where things are going to move more so than the virtual reality. I think virtual reality will have its small niche. Don't get me wrong, right? But I think the augmented reality has more of a wider application than the virtual reality.
Yeah, augmented is also just easier to implement. There's less processing power. So maybe in 10, 20 years, we'll have glasses that do full VR because the processors and power needed can be in smaller microchips. But right now, to do that is a lot. You would need a backpack of a computer to run VR.
Fair enough.
So
pretty cool, though.
I mean, have you seen on like TikTok, like those VR studios?
I don't watch TikTok.
Of course you don't. With those VR studios and people are like in like a virtual studio, but there's like a backpack of a computer on them.
Yeah.
So I mean, VR in the general public is a bit of a stretch, but AR definitely.
Yeah. Interesting.
Next article. Neopets.
They're back.
Well, apparently
They never went away.
They never went away.
Didn't you say they were just at this last Comic-Con?
Yeah, they had a booth at Comic-Con.
Oh, interesting.
But prior to that, Neopets made a public statement that a hacker had accessed its systems. The hacker in question has claimed that they have stolen 69 million user accounts, including passwords. And this is believable because back in, I think, 2016,
right,
they had a hack, which also stole passwords.
Now, this isn't as popular as it used to be, right? So, but this could be an issue for the millennials, right? And also for the boomers who maybe had one of these.
Or Gen X.
Or Gen X. And they were using passwords that they kept when they were younger and you're using them today.
Yeah, not so much a warning for current young folk on the internet, but if you have ever had a Neopets account or someone in your family's ever once had a Neopets account, the issue is that your password to that account may be in the hands of someone you don't want to have that password. So
and back then, people were using the same password. Well, even today they are.
Yeah, true.
For multiple accounts. So, you know, these are things to think of. So the takeaway from this, Brandon, is, listen, if you've had a Neopets in the past, if you can remember what your username and password was, maybe go in and change your username and password on any other accounts that were the same, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is pretty common with, I find, with smaller companies that aren't the Facebooks and Googles and Snapchats of the world.
The low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. It's especially for kids on the internet who might be signing up for all kinds of one-off accounts for whatever game you want to play, but that game could be Neopets, could be something else in 10, 20 years from now, may not have proper security in place.
Yeah, for
and then there's a problem.
Or the security was in place can now be circumvented with
that
technology, right? Yeah.
Maybe they didn't update it. Yeah. So
Interesting.
Password management still the number one biggest problem for safety and security and privacy on the internet. Uber will pay $2.2 million to settle claims of overcharging riders with disabilities.
What's this one all about?
So Uber, in the world now of microtransactioning everything, so Uber had launched
like heated seats in cars.
Watch our last show.
That was our last show, right?
So Uber had launched a program for if a driver drove to a location, but the passenger wasn't present, or it took them longer to get into the vehicle, Uber were charging a waiting fee. The problem is that according to Department of
Justice
stated that potentially violated Title III of the Americans with Disability Acts, because for some people they need to spend some more time to get into vehicles.
So they fell within that surcharge.
Yeah, and this is the problem with companies microtransactioning everything, is that at some point there are going to be some people who have certain needs and protections that your microtransactions are going to
piss
alienate,
them off.
Alienate, or
I'm going to use that term, piss them off. Right? Like this is just wrong, right? I don't know about you, Brandon, but I'm starting to see this more and more where these microtransactions are being used for a whole variety of things that used to be commonplace and were free. A good example, the heated seats that we talked about in the BMWs last week, right? Or this one here. But, you know, at least Uber has settled. They had to be brought to basically a legal case to do it. But yeah, you know, I wish I had an Uber here in Victoria. I used it when I was in San Diego. It was kind of cool, right? We have our own kind of self-grown Uber-ish type of ride-sharing program here in Victoria. But you mentioned it, you know, if you're a visitor coming to Victoria and you already have Uber on your app, well, then you can't do it. You have to download this new app on your phone from Victoria. But
yeah,
you know, they have it in Vancouver. Like but it's, you know, it's
up to each city to decide for themselves if they want to use Uber or not.
Well, and I think the taxi community here in Victoria were up in arms over the fact because they believe. But you know what? We don't have enough taxis now to deal with the issues. I mean, that's been all over the news. So it's just like, come on,
it's
people.
Like what? It'd be like movie store shops up in arms against Netflix.
I'll be honest with you. If Uber is to come to Victoria, I'd become an Uber driver. I think it would be so cool to be an Uber driver and just talk to people.
Would you be wearing this?
Sure. We could put a thing on our car, like the White Hat or Uber, right? But I just love talking to people. It drives your mother nuts, right? But I love talking and interacting with people. And what better way to do that than Uber, right? I just think it'd be cool. Just do it for a couple hours every day. I'm retired, dude. Like, it'd be kind of cool just to kind of drive people around who aren't from the city, who need to get from point A to point B, and, strike up a conversation and enjoy yourself for a couple hours. Yeah, pretty hard during COVID right now, but I mean,
drive around the city with what? You can't drive around Victoria anymore.
Why can't you?
Bike lanes and government seats
I know. That's a whole nother show onto itself. Right? But anyways, good on Uber for, bad on Uber for doing the microtransaction overcharging. Like, what are you doing? But having said that, at least they've settled, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a win for those with disabilities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of companies that have had problems, had to pay up.
Careful.
Apple.
I'm an Apple fanboy. You know that.
Apple settles lawsuit over its butterfly keyboards.
Right. Yeah, that's reasonable. This one is.
Yeah. So what's the big deal? So Apple, in one of its MacBook iterations, tried to make
iterations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
MacBook. In one of its versions of
versions, you use versions instead of iterations.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah. Apple. Now I lost my train of thought.
I know he's got mouth marbles. You were talking about butterfly keys,
yeah.
right? And
so
the problem
Apple,
with butterfly
in some of its MacBooks, had
I brain farted, dude.
Exactly. In one of its MacBooks, tried to make MacBooks smaller, thinner. So they redesigned
like that.
Happens to be one of those particular MacBooks. They made the keys, they redesigned the key mechanism, and unfortunately, through design, dust, dirt that get under the keys normally wouldn't be a huge problem, but are huge problems for these particular MacBooks. People had to replace their keyboard and spend all kinds of hundreds of dollars to do that.
That's why you got this like floppy cover on your keys, right?
Yeah, I got this thing. And keyboard covers, they do a better job of staying still because these keys are so low profile. This keyboard cover doesn't even really stay still.
Yeah.
And not to mention these MacBooks also overheat as well. The heating issues, wasn't addressed in this, but these versions of MacBooks suck.
But
the new M MacBooks are great.
Right.
But the one before those.
See, I've got the old MacBook Pro, and it doesn't use the butterfly keys. I think mine is like 4 or 5 years old, and still have no issues.
Nah,
with
it's
it
older
whatsoever.
than that.
Is it?
Well, I counted the 3 years of COVID.
Hey, easy.
People usually forget about
calling
those
me
years.
old again, right?
People usually think it happened last year, and they think, 2019. Oh, yeah. No, it's 2020 right now.
Okay, maybe it's 5 or 6 years old, but maybe it's even older than that. Anyways, but I've had no issues with it whatsoever. Right? It just works. But yeah, good on, I'm an Apple fanboy, but I will agree with you that the whole issue around the butterfly keyboards was an issue, right?
So if you have such a MacBook and you've had your keys replaced, you may be entitled to some reimbursement. So look into that. What if you have a current MacBook and let's say mine does the keys break somehow because of the mechanism? Am I covered? No, it's only, according to the article, only for Macs that were 4 years after purchase.
Oh. Well, that's not.
Well,
like, come on, Apple.
That's the same with my car.
They should do that for all the Apple products that are.
Yeah, but for how long? How long do they support that? Forever?
Well, I think so. As long as you originally owned the computer.
Yeah, tell it to my car manufacturer.
I know.
Manufacturers do put on these lawsuits. They always put, 4 years after date of purchase. Right?
How long have you had that for?
Long time.
Really? More than 4 years?
Well, keep in mind, there's been like 3 years of COVID, and then I was traveling.
2 years of COVID.
It's almost 3.
2.
We're getting up to 3.
2.
Okay. 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And we're not done yet.
If you have such a MacBook, you might look into that because you might get some money. And that's our show.
Hey, podcast is going really well.
There's a new episode up.
Yeah, new episode's up. It's on online pornography, hypersexualization, and youth. And what's really cool is I had a phone call yesterday from a parent who said, great timing on that podcast. My son just recently came forward to let us know that he was having issues or problematic usage of online porn, and we didn't know what to do. This was new to us, and we listened to your podcast, and it was extremely basically enlightening and helped us know where to go, what to do, and all that kind of stuff. That was kind of cool. That was kind of cool to get that. So yeah, I'm really kind of enjoying these podcasts. I really am. So yeah,
That's awesome. You can check that out at the link
Hey,
below.
and you know, in a couple weeks, we as a company, we're going to do a free virtual presentation on issues surrounding online predation, exploitation, child exploitation, and what it is and what parents can do. And I'm really kind of looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah, details for that will be coming out soon as we figure out details for when we're going to broadcast that.
And Brandon's doing a couple projects, and he's got another big one. We're not going to tell you what it is.
Projects lead into bigger fixes and upgrades.
He went down a rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen.
If I want to do one thing, might as well do it across everything.
He went down a rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen.
And then do the other thing. So yeah, one thing led to another, and it looks like the to-do list is a bit longer than originally anticipated.
Oh, well, let's just say he was supposed to spend the weekend playing online games. That's kind of what he does for a break. And that never happened. In fact, he started going down a rabbit hole.
I spent some time researching
rabbit hole
on things.
Yeah.
So,
and one thing led to another, and now all of a sudden there's going to be some big changes, right? Which are kind of cool.
Yeah.
But time consuming, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
On that note, we will see you all next week. We are coming up on a break soon for the show, and I think that will be next
It's Brandon's birthday week.
I usually take that week off because, yeah.
I think on our calendar he put Brandon does not exist for the entire week. It was pretty funny. Mom and Dad, we looked at it and went, what the hell does that mean? Oh, I guess we don't have to. It was kind of like the Avengers with Thanos, who snapped his fingers.
Yeah,
and
basically that week I Thanos snapped. So there will not be a show that week, but we'll be back in the following week after that.
For sure.
Alrighty. See you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.